Everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Nicole Fortine. I'm head of customer success at Verivest. Really excited to dive into this topic today, elevating real estate fund administration with Verivest's AI-driven innovation powered by DwellFi, which you'll learn much more about soon. But first, I need to make some introductions. We have a couple of guests here today. So we have Matt Burke, Verivest's founder and CEO. And we also have Kumar Ujval, who is the co-founder and CEO of DwellFi. Welcome,
Hey,
Matt. Welcome, Kumar.
thank you for
Thank you,
having
Nicole.
All right, let's dive into our agenda for today. So we're going to first have an update on Verivest, and then we'll introduce DwellFi and more about our partnership there. And then we'll discuss the future of fund administration, applied AI, and tokenization. And then I'm going to give a brief sandbox demo of just some of the AI features that are being built out for the new portal. And then we're going to have questions at the end. But just a reminder, you do not have to wait till the end to ask questions. We encourage your engagement throughout. Feel free to drop questions at any time. You can drop questions by going to the bottom of the screen and clicking on the Q&A. So now I'm going to hand it over to Matt and Kumar to tell us more about Verivest's journey, our partnership with DwellFi, and the future of fund administration.
Yeah, thank you, Nicole. So we wanted to just give a brief background on Verivest and kind of where we came from, how we got here, and kind of the journey to where we are today. As some of you may know who've been clients and folks that we've worked with over the years, Verivest was kind of born out of an advisory practice we had to provide help for people that wanted to set up and launch their own fund. So we did a lot of that work in the early 2010s, and it kind of gave rise to this administration practice as an offshoot of that. And we started doing that in 2014, and it grew to the point where we spun it off as a separate company in 2017 called Redwood Real Estate Administration. That was the original name of the company. We ended up rebranding it as Verivest in 2020. And for those of you that know much about us, I'd say, so we were born in our original purpose and business model was providing real estate asset-based fund administration to both credit, mortgage pools and direct ownership of real estate, both closed and open-ended funds, all really focused heavily on the real estate space. I think from 2000, about 20 to as recently as 23, we kind of veered all over the place in terms of some of the things we tried to do, and that included developing our own technology, which we spent a great deal of time, effort, and money on. But at the end of the day, technology is really not who we are. We're real estate people that understand real estate deeply and intimately. So in 2000, late 23, we basically decided, okay, we're not going to attempt to continue in the tech space, and we started looking around for options. A mutual contact of ours introduced us to DwellFi. So earlier this year in the spring, I met Kumar and his team, and we've gotten to know each other over the last 6 months. And the long and short of it is we've entered into a joint venture agreement with DwellFi to have them provide the technology background. So Kumar will tell you a little bit more about himself, but he's a technologist through and through, right? And I'm a real estate guy, and we're real estate people through and through. So our belief is that the combination of our background and expertise in real estate and administration and all the things that the nuances and the challenges and the intricacies that go into it, combined with their technology, is something that we feel is a really powerful combination. So that's a little bit about it's a very brief summary of a lot of stuff, but end of the day, it's a combination of Verivest's real estate and DwellFi's tech. So with that, I think Nicole, you want to maybe give a little bit more about Kumar, huh?
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I will just talk a little bit briefly about myself, how we started DwellFi and what we do at DwellFi and what this partnership is all about. So a brief background about myself. I've been always into tech. Started my career as a software engineer, went to Stanford, and then started my first company in 2010, early 2010. I ran it for 2 years, sold it, and then moved into AI machine learning, rolled out mostly large AI applications in banks like Wells Fargo, Applied Material, and a bunch of different places, a retail space too, like Kohl's and Macy's. And then joined as a head of product at an early stage startup, Punch, and then took the company from 0 to 50 million ARR. And then company got acquired for $500 million. That exit led me to got into finance world, and that's where I started dipping my toes into finance. Started a venture fund and invested across 32 companies, especially mostly in the AI space, and then also started a private credit fund for GPU financing where the GPU started. But all these things together, what it did, it got me more and more into finance side and started looking into okay how the back end of these finance and funds works. And that's where we saw a lot of inefficiency in the system. Give and take, you can say that it's some of them are because of the regulation, some of them are because of the way the whole industry is set up. So that was an opportunity where we decided to build a more efficient product, because when you look at the back end of the finance side and then you look at on the SaaS software side, it's no difference, but the way it both operates, it's a huge difference in that one based on the efficiency. So that's where we decided to bring that same technology on this side of the world. And that's how DwellFi was born. So if you look at from a DwellFi perspective on the product side, what we do is our core basis is on the data side. So we build, because everything starts with the data. So that's where we build a data infrastructure on which we have built different services. And all these services are focused on bringing efficiency into the daily operations. So either it could be client services from client interfacing to the backend efficiency in the accounting and all system. And that's our core thesis of DwellFi, is how to bring more efficiency in the financial world, and especially focusing on the fund admin side. So
Yeah,
yeah.
so for us, the background and experience that Kumar brings to the table was a perfect fit for, the areas that we had struggled with over the last few years on our side. So I think the combination of DwellFi and Verivest, and we'll talk more about this here, throughout this conversation and beyond, is very, very powerful and can bring tremendous advantages, we believe, to real estate fund managers, and that's our goal. So a little bit about, kind of what does the future of fund administration look like? We've had a lot of conversations internally here over the last few months and looked at the landscape across the board on what people's expectations are around a fund administrator. Obviously, there are any number of fund administration firms out there in the world. Many of them focus on VC and PE and hedge and other types of funds. Less of them certainly focus on real estate. So as we talk about the future of fund administration, Nicole, if you want to go to the next slide, you kind of look at, say, what are managers looking for out of a fund administrator? And when you look at it at the high level, these are 5 of the most important things. Certainly there are others, but I think these are the ones that really matter to managers. And first and foremost, expertise and specialization. There's a huge difference between real estate funds and other types of funds, given all the nuances of real estate funds, where you typically are passing through depreciation and it's an LLC oftentimes, or an LP, and there's pass-throughs, there's underlying assets, there's waterfall calculations, there's a lot of stuff that goes on to maximize that fund. Having that expertise is important. I feel like the real estate front and real estate secured loans, that's where we bring a tremendous amount of expertise. Second, technology and data management. We're going to talk more about this data component. Kumar referenced it. You'll see that the application of artificial intelligence in today's world, as it pertains to specific proprietary data, is massively powerful. And as I've learned more and more about it, what it can do it's truly mind-blowing. So I think we'll bring that to the table as well. Obviously, you got to be cost effective and you got to be competitive. This is a bit of a commodity type business, so you need to be in the mix on price, and ultimately, ideally, you're saving people money compared to their next best available alternative. We believe that's also something we can do. Communication and responsiveness, a huge one. I'd say we've I give us a B on that over the years. And this is one of the things we're really focusing on developing as we go forward is better and more immediate responsiveness, communication, and so forth with our customers. Super important. And ultimately, for people that are growing, building more funds, doing a second vintage, and so forth, it's scalability and growth support. And I believe the combination of Verivest and with DwellFi's expertise on the tech side enables us to provide all five of those things. So with that said, kind of our purpose and our value proposition is really to revolutionize and improve and bring into the current, tech environment, the real estate fund administration by blending artificial intelligence technology that's now readily available with deep industry expertise in delivering superior results to managers. So that's our whole purpose. And the value prop from the perspective of the manager is that we will help you elevate your performance, your investor appeal, provide you with the ability to leverage the data that you actually have in a way that is unbelievably easy and seamless compared to what you've ever been able to do in the past, all of which should enhance your ability to raise more capital and ultimately save you time and money. So pretty compelling, value proposition. One of the biggest things, and Kumar, I'll let you jump in here and speak to this because you're way more of an expert than I am in it. But the ability to apply artificial intelligence to very specific industry verticals and to your proprietary data is super powerful. Nicole's going to give us a demo here of what we're working on and putting together that we're going to make available to our clients here shortly. But Kumar, do you want to touch a little bit upon kind of how AI is, and I mean, it's just software in general now, right? It's coming out. All the latest evolution of software is embedding artificial intelligence in it in a way that allows people to use it and do things they've never been able to do before.
No, absolutely. I'll just give you a brief context, like how powerful and where we are heading. So if you look at the way the whole AI movement is going on and everyone is applying AI. So on a 30,000 feet overview, the whole thing you can divide into like 3 paradigm shift. And we are in the 3rd paradigm shift. So the first one was .com, where everything started moving to basically a website. So if you don't have a website, you don't have a business. Then things moved from there. That's where the .com bubble, and then it ended. Then the second paradigm shift was mobile, where when 2007 Apple came and everyone started building apps. And then eventually, if you don't have an app presence, because the interface through which you actually operate was the mobile interface. And that's where everything moved to mobile. And now we are in the 3rd paradigm shift, which is a kind of a platform shift, is about AI. So every single thing you see eventually will have the AI, and it's happening right now. Because what it's up until now, the AI was not able to deliver what it was supposed to deliver. But now the invention of large language models has made it possible that it can do the things which we can't believe. And that's what is happening. And it's going to keep doing that. So that's where the paradigm shift is. So now if there is no AI, you will see AI in every single application. So now the question is, AI is a commodity. What is the value add, correct? So the actual value add of the AI starts with this 3 different combination where you need tech expertise, how to implement AI. Then you need data. And the third thing is your expertise, industry expertise. So if you have a 3 combination of these 3 things, then you have a super powerful AI application, or you can say applied application. And that's what we're doing here at Verivest. Verivest comes up with deep expertise in the industry from the real estate side. Then we have the deep expertise in tech, and then applying that tech. And then there's the data. So if you combine these 3 things, you have a huge exponential value add. And that's what this is. So you have like enhanced data analysis and decision making. So once you have this data and you understand exactly how to apply it, you will be better in a position to make wiser decision and smarter decision with the help of AI. And then your operations. So all these operations which you do is basically today is more like a lot of manual process, correct? Once you bring the AI, what it does is automate the whole process. And the reason why you will able to do it in a much better way, because from the expertise, you understand exactly what is the process, but because of the lack of technology, you were not able to do that. But now that's where is replaced with the AI, and which smooths like streamline the whole process and makes the experience like 10x better than what it was
Yeah,
supposed to.
and to be clear with people, right, is like in fund, as it specifically as it pertains to fund administration, right? There's a very significant accounting component. We continue and will continue, obviously, to have humans that perform that work, but there is a great deal of manual work that goes into that that is very repetitive, that is ideal for the application of AI. So as it pertains to what we will bring to our clients, it will both be external and internal. Internal in the sense that we'll be able to use it to do work behind the scenes that speeds everything up for your benefit, and ultimately external for you to be able to upload information into your data room that allows you to then collate that data, and it's all proprietary data, so that you can then use it to derive meaningful context out of it with prompts and queries in ways that you simply can't do, today. And even doing it on larger, the Chat GPT and the large ones, you really cannot do it there, because at the moment you upload your data there, it's no longer your data. It's now their data, and it's searching the entire world of information, whereas we only wanted to search your information to give you answers that matter to you. And ultimately, and I'll let Nicole's going to give a little demo of this, so I won't go too deep into it, but there's obviously table stakes involved in fund administration, right? Production of financial statements, production of investor capital account statements, and so on and so forth. The AI allows us to do that much more rapidly with fewer errors, with allowing our people to focus on making sure that the data and everything is accurate, as opposed to doing all the manual work that's error prone, right? As AI is able to do that. So enough about that. I'm going to, in the interest of time, I want to jump to the next topic. And this is another thing that I think is going to ultimately revolutionize the private space in general, not just real estate funds, but tokenization. I know that people are super interested in it, but it's very new. It's for a lot of real estate folks. They don't fully understand how it works. But at the end of the day, there's two major benefits that I see. One is the potential for increased liquidity for your LPs and even your GP position. In some cases, that's going to take time, because you have to have a market for that. So that to develop enough buyers on the other side of the trade, that's going to take some amount of time, but it's coming and it'll happen. Probably the bigger, more immediate benefit is that it enables a fund manager to put all of the activity of that fund on a blockchain that it allows you to prove that the performance of your fund, the number of investors that you've taken in, the amount of money, the distributions you're making, the returns you're generating, all of that is now verifiable on a blockchain that is immutable, that cannot change, right? As opposed to it being behind a black box in a private fund. This is one of the biggest impediments from an investor standpoint to investing in a fund, is that they don't know whether or not the information that you're providing them is legitimate. Because it's easy, you have no requirement as a private fund manager to provide that information. Therefore, many of them don't, and there hasn't really been a way to do it in the past. And so there's all kinds of reasons why tokenization allows you greater transparency that will help you effectuate better transparency and more trust from investors more quickly, because they know your information is legitimate. And my last point on there is that, look, if it enhances capital raising, and what it requires you to do is set it up properly in the first place to be able to tokenize it, and then have the technology to do it. And ultimately, if you do it right, it's really not costing you any more money than it would cost you to run it the way you've always run it, but it enhances your ability to raise money and provides liquidity for investors as the market matures. Why wouldn't you entertain doing it? There really is no reason other than the lack of familiarity. It's new, people don't understand it, so they're fearful, etc. But this is where everything is going. So it's only a matter of time. We're making that available early so that we can help facilitate all of these benefits to our clients.
All right, now I can show you kind of a little sneak peek into what some of these features will look like. I'm going to share my screen really quick. All right, so this isn't necessarily how the features are going to look like, but this is just more to show you the AI capabilities that are going to be built into the new portal. And with a little context, the jumping off what both Matt and Kumar said, this is just querying your data. It's your proprietary data in this location. It's not being, you're not asking Chat GPT your proprietary information, and it's trying to pull an answer for you because that's what it's trained to do. If the AI doesn't have the information, this AI bot does not have the information that you're asking it a question in this new portal bot, it will tell you. It will just say, I don't have that information. So it is not only helping you pull information that's existing in your portal, it's letting you know something that doesn't exist so that you can understand your data better. And the more information that you put into your data room or that's contained in the portal, the more complex questions that you can ask the AI. So I have a relatively small amount of data for it to pull in here, but the kind of things that I uploaded are, information for a new fund I'm possibly going to launch. I've put in some investor reports to help me understand some of the investors I have in a fund that I'm currently operating. So some of the questions I'm going to ask the bot are going to be based around those questions. And one of the great things that you can do with the AI bot is just have it prepare some marketing information for you for your investors. So maybe you have a potential investor that wants to understand the benefits of investing in a fund that you've launched or about to launch. So you can ask it a question. Compare, hold on, I have two funds. Pinnacle versus Summit for a potential investor. So you can ask it this question and it will kind of give you information that the system contains for both funds. And like I showed you, I have that information uploaded into the system. And then maybe you want it to write an email celebrating the launch of this fund for your investors. So here it is. It's created a launch email for me, which you can edit or even ask additional queries to get additional information added to this. You can copy and paste it here. And then it also gives you sources down here that just let you know where it's pulling this information from. So if you click on one, it will give you the information that it's pulling from. And you can even have it pull a LinkedIn post for you with hashtags included. So you can say, write a LinkedIn post celebrating the launch of Pinnacle and highlighting, oops, outlining the metrics. So there's things like this that it's already kind of pre-populating some of the imagery, the hashtags for you, and it just makes it really easy for you to write these things that maybe took you, minutes that you had to really focus and sit down and write, and it's already auto pulling this information for you. But you can also ask it queries about your investors. So maybe you have an investor on the phone and you want to know all of the investments that are tied to that investor's email. Oops. So it's telling me all the accounts that are tied to this specific email. I have, and it's telling you like contribution amounts and pledge dates and information like that. You can even ask it to total. So it just makes these things that you might have had to go through our platform and kind of search through and do totals before, you can just be on the phone with the investor and get these answers pretty much immediately. So, like I said before, the more information that you put in to your data room and that's contained in the portal, the more complex queries that you'll be able to pull. You can even upload videos, transcripts, anything that you need to reference at a later date, and it will be able to pull that information and help you understand your investors, your fund, and just help you do things that would have taken you days, hours before. You can do it in minutes, seconds, like this returned this information fairly quickly. So this is being built into the new portal, and as additional features are being released, we will have additional webinars to show you those features and deep dive into some of them. So definitely look out for additional webinars being scheduled. So we're excited to show you some of the new features that are being built out. The new portal will pretty much contain the similar functionality to what our current portal is. So you're not losing anything. It's just going to have some additional features, functionality, and like we were talking about this meeting, AI. So really exciting stuff. All right, we can dive into questions now. So if you haven't dropped any questions, feel free to drop some in the chat box.
I think there's two questions there, Nicole.
I'm sorry.
I think there are two questions I can see in Q&A.
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to answer those live, especially on anything on the tech side, Kumar would be the expert. We certainly have a good working knowledge of it, but yeah, so Kumar, if you want to answer any of those, go for it.
Yeah, I can read this one out to you, Kumar. Does the AI functionality have to be trained by each client?
Yeah. So the short answer is no. So the model which we are using currently is pre-trained on all the financial data. So that means like it understand the financial language. What is like if you just ask for ROI, it understand what is ROI. If you ask some other financial term, it understand that. So once we give the data, your data, it basically goes over that unstructured data, convert into structure, and that's where the automatically learning happens. So you don't have to we don't have to pre-train this model for financial knowledge. So it's as you upload the data, it understands and it gets that information.
Awesome. Looks like somebody said, what about Arabic language support? Does it support other languages than English right now?
Right now, it supports a couple of languages, but Arabic and other languages are not supported, which can be built in later on.
Okay. So not yet.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's another question. The system goes on the back end of the fund website, or is it independent? I think they're meaning the AI.
The system does go back in of the fund website.
Yeah, and so some of this, if we aren't able to answer, we're happy to take any of these questions offline and speak with you personally. So please give us a call. Happy to
I
chat
think
about it.
Yep. The last, I think Jared is asking, can the AI be trained on your proprietary valuation model and tooling? Yes, absolutely. So if you have a template, specific template, which you use that template, it can basically be trained on that one. And then it can start pre-populating so you have a data and you have a template, you ask, give me the format in this specific template, it will do that.
And that's when you get into non-AI stuff, like valuations are a huge thing. We've been talking with, we deal with auditors on a regular basis, right? And a huge piece of it for real estate funds is what is the valuation, especially if it's an open-ended fund and you have a net asset value, because that's what people are buying in at. You need to have valuations in place. So a combination of the expertise of knowing how to do real estate valuations and the AI is super powerful.
Yep. So more data you provide the system, it's get better and better.
Yeah, and we're already using it across our business, not just in terms of the administration itself, but the way we even run our business. So correct me if I'm wrong here, Kumar or Nicole, but for example, you can upload anything you want into your data room. It could be recordings of conversations you've had with investors. right? Where
Yes.
you're answering questions about the fund that, that get asked all the time, right? And you could upload quarterly reports, you could upload investor letters, you can upload emails, you can upload CSV files, Excel files, your operating Word docs, right? So all that lives in your data room. And then as you go to query it, right, the more information that's in there, the more you can get intelligent answers to things that you deal with all the time and provided to people in absolute real time, as opposed to like in our portal in the past. I mean, it would take forever to go in
Yep.
there and search around and try to figure out answers. Even the simple one that, I mean, that's been a complaint we've had for quite a while, right? Nicole was like, I don't know how much money all my investors have across all the different, deals. Well, building software to have people use all of that, that's time consuming for people to even just learn how to use it. Now, it's one of the biggest things about AI that I'm discovering. And look, I'm an old guy, right? It's like I'm not someone who's native to all this, but the ease with which you can query this stuff, it really comes down to how good are you at asking the right questions, right? And asking the right follow-up questions, and it gives you the information instantaneously. I mean, it's unbelievably powerful. So we're super excited to bring it to our clients and do it in a very applied way, specifically to fund administration.
Yeah. So one of the questions people are asking for is the IRR calculation and all. So this is where I was explaining in the beginning. So it is already trained on the financial modeling and all. So it understands exactly what IRR is. So if you ask, can you do my IRR calculation? It will give you so two things gonna happen. It will give you the IRR calculation. It will tell you exactly how the calculation happens. And then if there is a data, it will calculate and tell you. If there is not data, so it will tell you exactly what data is missing. So for example, let's say hypothetically, you have all the information about your investment and expenses, but if you don't have a cash flow, it will tell you, hey, I don't have a cash flow, or I don't have this. And you can provide that information and then we'll do that. So that's the beauty of AI, that once it learn the system, it exactly know what to do and how to ask back questions to you and then give you the answers. The second question is AI trained on projections and rent roll. Exactly the same thing. So it understands all these modeling, but if you once you provide this information, okay, hey, here is how my specific rent roll model works. This is how I am calculating my NAV. It will do the same thing from going forward next time. So think this as an analyst sitting next to you, always available. And you ask questions, you explain, and the analyst, here is how I do it. And next time I want it to be done in this way, it will start doing that thing.
All right. I don't think there's any more questions right now. Can we go back to the summary slide really quick?
Yeah, so I to kind of wrap up the big picture summary of all this is that to let people know who might be curious, the portal will be included in the use of our admin services. So people who purchase fund administration will get the use of the portal included. The portal will have all the current functionality it has that you're used to, plus AI, plus the tokenization. And that will migrate people over time here, and we'll coordinate with you specifically to make sure that migration comports with your time frame and so forth. So all this stuff will be available as we make those migrations. And I feel like the using the applied AI on your own proprietary data, just the insights, the efficiencies, the utilization, it's game changing. And then ultimately the tokenization, if you want to incorporate that, you don't have to, but you certainly can. To me, the liquidity, the transparency, the enhancement of your capital raising capacity over time as the world moves more and more toward digitization of all this stuff is something that just makes a ton of sense. And so it's certainly worth exploring. And at the end of the day, the combination of the admin, the portal, the tokenization, so forth, you add it all up, it's actually if you do it properly, I think you'll actually spend less money than you do by a combination of an investor portal and an admin and a tokenization portal and so forth. So lots of exciting stuff on the horizon. So hopefully all this stuff is helpful.
All
I think
right.
one question someone asked about the tokenization, is it available today? Just to give you a brief, yes, it is available today, and it is chain agnostic. That means we are EVM compatible. So basically any chain which support EVM, which is Ethereum virtual machine, and it's almost all the chain. So that's why it's chain agnostic. And we use ERC 1155 standard. If you want to know about the tokenization, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. But yes, we can go offline and talk more detail, and I can explain how this works and what we do.
If there's any additional questions after this,
Yeah.
we're definitely available to answer those questions. All right. That's the end of our time. Thank you all for attending. We definitely will have additional webinars as there's additional features to talk about. Thank you, Matt, and thank you, Kumar, for this discussion. If you want to follow our journey, you can follow us on LinkedIn. So you can follow Matt, Verivest, DwellFi, or Kumar. You can also visit our website or DwellFi's website for more information. And again, I'm always available for questions, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.